bang, bang, and then dropped straight into the ocean. When it hit the side of that boat and it fell into the water, it was that real sad disappointment feeling that I got, and it sucked. What I wanted to do was share that story, and by the end of this video, I wanted to share the things that I would have done differently. Also give you some tips if you find yourself in the same situation where you either crash and lose your drone or need to replace your drone at some point. And this is specifically applies to the DJI brand. Stay tuned for that. These are some really important steps. I wish I knew them before I started flying my drone. Glad I know them now, but hopefully you don't have to experience these, and it won't cost you as much to go through this journey. So last week I went on vacation. I just uploaded a video of a vlog of us in this beautiful place in Australia called Noosa. We head out on the fishing boat, and it's a beautiful, serene area. There's housing on one side, and on the other it's just tropical rainforest, and lots of nature and just beauty in that area. So I decided to get my drone out and try to capture some of this. That's where it went all wrong. I was on a boat. It was quite small. We were fishing off that boat, and we had anchored about 10 or 15 meters offshore in the canals in Noosa. I got my drone ready, and I took off from inside the boat and got some beautiful shots. You'll see here, these is probably the last shots of me with my drone. You'll see here that I was flying my drone just outside the boat, and I was circling the area as well as, taking it up a little bit higher. It was a little bit windy, and I noticed that, and the wind started to pick up, so I got a little bit nervous. And then at that point, I decided to try to land the Mini 2. Now, opposite me, about 50 meters, just where the shore was, there was actually this little dock that I could have chosen to land, and I did think about landing my drone on there, but we would have to unanchor, remove the anchor, and get the pontoon boat out to that dock before I could actually go and pick up my drone. So I thought that I would try and land my drone inside the boat. Now, we're not moving at this point, we're stationary. It is a little bit windy, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm not really sure this is a great idea. And I tried to get the drone really close to the boat, and as I did, the wind kicked up. And when the wind kicked up, the boat rocked, and I kind of lost balance. I ended up flicking my joystick on the remote controller for my Mini 2, and that sent the drone crashing into the side of the boat, and then kind of went bang, bang, and then dropped straight into the ocean. So I'd lost my drone. It was at the bottom of the ocean, and there was no way to find it. I couldn't recover it. The worst part about all this was that I couldn't get any of the footage back. And so what I had to try to do now was figure out, what do I do next? I've lost my drone. Where do I go? Now, at that point, I knew that I had purchased the DJI Care Refresh Plan, which is a once-off cost that you pay within the first 48 hours of purchasing a DJI product, and specifically a drone, because when you purchase that, you can obviously cover your drone for damage and flyaway, which is what DJI calls when you lose your drone. So I went onto DJI's website, or you could go through the app and you hit the support button, and I basically started chatting to someone, and I applied for a replacement of my DJI drone. So before DJI can approve the replacement of your drone, you have to make sure that your controller is bound to your aircraft. Now, that is easy to do through the app and the DJI Fly app, and you need to have both the controller and your aircraft turned on and synced, and that way DJI can also confirm that that aircraft belonged to you, and that you actually lost it when you say you lost it. So make sure you do that. I had a little bit of trouble with that part because I didn't bind my controller to my aircraft correctly, and this caused a little bit of a problem when it came to claiming my replacement and progressing my ticket. But what I can say is DJI's customer care has been amazing through all of this. They were supportive, they understood where I was coming from, and sometimes it helps speaking to someone who understands your pain, and that's what I definitely felt with DJI. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for all your help. So once you've applied for a case to be referred for a replacement of your drone, then what you'll need to do is kind of sit back and wait until the support team gets in contact with you. Now, this happened so quickly for me, and again, I can't thank DJI enough for how quickly they turned this around. But within 24 hours, I had someone emailing me about the process, what it would cost, and the things that I had to do before I could actually get a replacement sent out. The first thing I had to do was go onto my DJI Fly app, and I had to upload and sync all the data and also the videos of the last few flights that I did, because they hadn't synced up to the cloud or the DJI cloud, so that they could see and kind of confirm what I was saying, and when and where I lost the drone, they could see that as well. So this is easy to do through your DJI Fly app. Now, unfortunately, like I said, I lost all the footage that I captured, and there were some really amazing shots in there. One thing I would do differently is I would back up all my footage and my photos that I've taken at the end of the day to avoid any, loss of data, because that was the real pain point here. Was I could always replace my drone, even if it meant that it cost me more money, but I could never replace those memories and the footage that I captured, because those places that you visit, those memories are great, but to immortalize them and to share them as content, or to save them for yourself later down the track, you really need to keep them backed up. And I wish I did this with my drone footage, because I had probably about 15 gig of footage that I ended up losing. The second thing I would also suggest you do is that you learn how to fly in tight spaces in all types of conditions. If you're someone that is looking to be taking risky shots and footage like I was trying to do, one thing I could have done better is actually be a little bit more skillful in the way that I executed both the takeoff, landing, and flying in those conditions. Now, there's nothing to say that you shouldn't fly your drone in tight spaces. Make sure that if you're someone that's planning to fly in kind of risky scenarios, that you go out and practice those things in a safe environment, and always do it in a safe environment. I can't tell you how stressful it was trying to actually fly through these tight spaces it was literally my second time trying to do it. And it was, when I look back at it, I'm quite frustrated at myself for allowing that to happen. But hey, what can I do now? It's, experience is the greatest teacher, and is undefeated when it comes to the lessons you learn and the perspective you get. So go ahead and make sure that you practice flying your drone in different situations and scenarios before you go ahead and try and get that really cool, amazing piece of footage. It's been about 72 hours now, and I had to pay a replacement fee for my drone. It cost me 349 Australian dollars. And this can vary depending on the drone you have and the type of replacement you're going for. So mine was classified as a flyaway drone, technically because I lost it. And because of that, the standard fee for a flyaway is 349 Australian dollars. Now, I think that's roughly about $200 US, but you'll need to go and check that out. What I can say is that if I didn't have the DJI Care Refresh plan, I would not be able to go ahead and replace my drone. Now, this is an absolute must for anyone that is going to purchase a drone. I don't think that you can purchase a drone and not go and get the Care Refresh plan, because everyone at some point is going to crash their drone. I think it's inevitable. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm sure that there are some great pilots out there, but I think even the best pilots will crash their drone, maybe not lose it or maybe not sink it to the bottom of the ocean like I did. But to make sure that you protect yourself against all that, go and get the Care Refresh plan. It cost me about 80 Australian dollars. It gives me about 2 replacements of my drone across the year. To be honest with you, if I didn't do that, I'd be looking at well over $1,000 worth of gear that I've lost, and not to mention the heartache and stress of trying to replace it. Now, the other thing I would suggest is if you're someone that's flying over water and trying to do the thing that I was doing with my Mini 2, is you go ahead and purchase an accessory that's going to help you land, or at least give you the chance to land on water. Now, the Mini 2 has an accessory that is that I found on Amazon, which is basically a landing gear for water, and it straps on the bottom of your DJI Mini 2, and it just allows you to, land on the water. If you're in a sticky situation where you can't seem to go ahead and actually get it back to where you are, at least you can go and recover your drone. You can also take off from water and then bring it back to you in the case of an emergency. I think this is a bit of a no-brainer for me now. I'll definitely be going and purchasing these. I'll link them in the description for you. If you're interested, go and check them out. Now, after all that, there's so much that I learned, perspective that I got, plus also understanding that I have to get better at flying my drone. The thing that I'm trying to do with my drone is capture cinematic footage and improve my videography as a result. And the aerial footage that I'm capturing, I want to make sure that I back it up, that I've got, some kind of way to always have access to it, because I really don't want to be in that situation ever again. Secondly, I want to make sure that I get better at flying my drone in tight spaces in all sorts of different conditions. As you can see, it's not been a fun ride, but at the end of the day, I'm safe. The people I travel with are safe. I can always replace my drone. I'm just going to have to go and visit Noosa again, because it was an amazing place to go on vacation, and I plan on going and doing a little bit more of that over the summer. Replacement drone is on its way. DJI is about to ship it out, and I should have it in the next 2 or 3 days. If you're someone that's been through this or has crashed their drone and don't know what to do, I feel your pain. Let me know in the comments below. And to all those new drone pilots out there, beginners and people who have just maybe thinking about buying a drone, you should definitely look at the Mini 2 as an entry for your first drone purchase, or something that you should definitely consider. I'll leave a link to a video that's reviewing my first impressions of the DJI Mini 2. I hope you learned something today. Make sure to take those steps and apply them to your piloting experience, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all the support that I get from all of you. I see your comments, and it means a lot. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.